What's up, girls? Man, we are getting fancy around here, aren't we? Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to another great show that John and I and Joel have put together for you here the night before the election. PotcastsRUhl. Here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, big night. Red moon, red blood moon. Just how did that happen? Yeah, Joel.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, on the eve of the election, a red blood moon.
Yeah. Democracy's at stake. Get out and vote. This could be the end of freedom of speech.
Oh God, it's the whole world. It's just the whole sky's falling.
All these other great great things they've come up with in the last few weeks.
Cats and dogs living together.
Yeah. Anyway, to my Democrat friends, and you know who you are, and I love you very, very dearly. I'm pretty sure the Democratic Party is not what it used to be.
Nah, it's got that. Well, actually, probably 80% of the Democrats are. It's the party that ain't.
Yeah, the leadership is definitely has an issue.
I don't think I have any Democratic friends that want to see some of the stuff that's going on. They don't, they might not want to admit it, but they don't want to see kids being what happens to kids these days, and
I don't know who thinks that that's a great idea. You know what I mean? First of all, I've been around the sun 50 plus times. And I still don't know what the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, how do you know as a child what you want and what, your brain's not developed. That's it.
No, like we said before, it's a fad, the hula hoop was a much healthier fad.
Slinkies.
Yeah. A nice
streaking.
You get a nice slinky, or a pet rock or something, and not a double mastectomy when you're 13 years old.
I went to grade school at St. Jerome's in Philadelphia. And I remember us being outside for a recess or something with the nuns, because I think 80% of the teachers were nuns. And this dude just come flying out from the side, just hucking in his underwear, you know what I mean? Streaking, and the nuns were like, oh, and we just, but I think that fad went out pretty quick.
Yeah. The nuns were, maybe a couple of them were kind of sideways.
Most of them were old as the hills back then.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So we're here and we're smoking a little weed and talking stuff. And remember, these are our opinions. You know what I mean? We're by no means professionals.
Yeah.
We're semi-professionals. But I do want to say before we get crazy, one thing, because we like to talk about weed, because I'm in the weed business and I love weed, and I'm sure a lot of you guys love weed too. Is that weed is on the ballot for recreation in 5 different states.
Yeah, it is. North Dakota, South Dakota, Arkansas,
Missouri.
I think.
And
you have that map up there, Joel?
The great state of Maryland.
Yeah.
My home state, the old line state.
Yeah, what's interesting is that bring that back up just for a second there, Joel. Look where it's already legal already.
Well, that's for recreational use. And
the
yellow.
Yeah, that's for medical. That's for medical.
Yeah, I can see now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my joints don't hurt. I just smoked smoked a big fatty. My elbow's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're in one of those states, marijuana should be legal. It's a great medicine. It's great for PTSD. It's great for, pains. It's natural. You're not going to get addicted to a painkiller from Big Pharma if you're smoking weed or having an edible, or, there's a lot of people I know these days, and people that are, let's just say, a little bit more vintage than me, are very thankful that I give them gummies because they sleep better and they don't have to take pills for pain.
Yeah.
I just like to smoke it because it makes me feel good. And I usually don't feel any pain anyway. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Missouri, Arkansas, and the great state of Maryland. Right now, Maine, New York, Boston, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Virginia, Alabama, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Montana, California, Alaska are recreational states. So the other ones in yellow you see there, those are medical only. So hopefully they'll get that done, and then we'll get some of these other people on board to get that done. It's great revenue. and it helps people. So I think that.
So what's going to
that should be
happen
going.
if they make it the feds have it as a Schedule 1 drug, and
So, yeah.
so what happens when that goes away? Is
Well,
it a free for all, or is that going to take 10 years before all the red tape's done? And
it's hard to say.
know.
Like they're going to want to tax it. And they're going to want to be involved, and which I mean makes sense. You know what I mean?
guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think we're overtaxed. There's a lady in San Diego. She wants to charge you 4 cents for every mile you drive after you pay tax on the car, right? Or the lease, right? And all the stuff you have to put on it, the tires, and you pay tax on the gas. Then she wants to tax you 4 cents a fucking mile.
Yeah, we're gonna tax those ceramic paint jobs too.
Fucking stupid.
I don't know if that's Lorena Gonzalez, but she's the one. She's the AB5 person, and she's a piece of work. I think she's a consultant now. But when you said San Diego, that's what brought her up to mind. She just
silly. But to answer your question, hopefully, if they can get it removed as a schedule from the Schedule 1, we'll be able to ship weed interstate.
I saw that look in your eyes.
It's funny. One of the reasons, and I do apologize that we were about an hour late. That I had a lot of calls today, marketing calls and sales calls, and then I was on the phone with a lot of people. But our new COO, one of his, he was a strategic officer, and he was worked for a large cannabis company, and they were like buying property in Florida and opening up buildings and buying property in New York and these other places where it's recreational. And he said he's just chomping at the bit. He said as soon as it's ready, like he's got the contacts, and
well, what's
creek don't rise,
Yeah, what's status in Florida now?
Recreational.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, like Jungle Boys just opened up a store.
Yeah. Okay.
MedMen has a store. Cookies just opened up a big store in New York. Shout out to Burner. But yeah, I mean, as Elliot would say, Elliot is the gentleman that owns all the Catalyst stores here in Southern California. He said, "Weed for the people."
Why not?
Yeah, he's quite the gentleman. He's a guy out. He goes out and knocks on doors himself. He'll go right to the city council or whoever.
Yeah, well, Catalyst is big, right? They've
huge.
Got a lot
They're
of
huge in Long Beach too.
Yeah,
I mean, there's Cherry, there's on Pine, they're everywhere.
Atlantic and Artesia.
Have you been
stomping grounds?
Speaking of that, I got a sidebar. Have you ever been to the Prospector?
Oh, the Prospector down on Anaheim. Yeah.
So
I went in there once when I was, young.
You talk about a trip back in time.
Oh my gosh.
I'm with one of the boys from work who's a local Long Beach guy, and his car was broke down. He needed to ride to Long Beach. We were leaving LA. I said, I got to go to Long Beach anyway. Let me take you. And we start talking. We were smoking. We started talking about food. We were hungry. And he's like, I'm going to tell you about this old school steakhouse place. Lobster and everything, And then we went the other night. It's a bunker. There are no windows.
Yeah.
You get inside, it still smells like cigarettes.
Yeah, I know.
It's old and dingy and dirty.
It's like
fucking real, bro. Like everybody was.
It's real. Like Anaheim and Terminal or something over there, a little farther west, maybe.
I guarantee it's an eyesore. I guarantee you the people in the neighborhood hate the place.
Yeah, of course.
But the food's cheap. It's not bad. The cocktails were good.
I know the old geezers that used to hang out there. I knew some, and this was 40 years ago.
Well, I understand the guy that owned the place. When he was done and had, retired, he gave it to the head bottle washer.
Oh, really?
Who at that time was probably the head chef.
Yeah.
He just gave it to him. He said, "Yours."
Well,
anyway, they're shout out to the Prospector.
Yeah, they're
go there, Long Beach.
Yeah, it's been there about as long as Joe Jost, but Joe Jost is a little more palatable. People go there because it's cool and they wear their shirts. You see shirts for Joe Jost in Europe, Well, they're not the Prospector.
Their hot dogs are good at Joe Jost.
Yeah.
Their eggs are even better.
Yeah.
But if you want a decent steak and a lobster tail for like $30, you get a baked potato. She gave me a salad and a fucking bowl of soup.
Yeah. And they call you honey.
She did. I'm telling you. I think two of those girls were trying to make moves on us.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to reality. Where were we?
Well, we were just trying to figure out the weed business, but
it'll definitely be beneficial if we could do that. Again, there's a lot of companies struggling with the economy and different things like that. So again, I've always said this. We're very fortunate. The company I work for has a product that's pretty outstanding, and
that's one word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, very very exciting, very exciting.
Yeah.
So let's see elections. We briefly talked about Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And Mr. Dr. Oz and a young man named Fetterman.
That guy. Yeah.
It's a sin, you know what I mean? Listen, I get a little bit of the, you know what I mean, how people could think that, you know what I mean, he had a stroke and a condition and, you know, are people picking on him, making fun? No, I just don't think that, you know, like he's just not capable. You have to be capable to communicate.
Yeah.
He wouldn't make it as an attorney, right? I mean,
no, he wouldn't make it as a box boy.
Well, I know he's not
Right now.
he
I mean, you know, I know no offense to box boys as Stater brothers, but he you know, I mean, he wouldn't make it, and so it's even beyond his policies, which you know he doesn't want to put anybody in jail, wants to let them all out and
open heroin, shoot needle sites. Yeah, it's just I think it's the wrong thing.
Yeah,
and he went fracking, no fracking until you know they put him on the spice. Like, I didn't say anything about banning fracking. It's the best thing about this age, this day and age. You just go back, you know what I mean, and look it up where they're, you know, they're verbatimly spewing the stuff when they say they didn't.
Right. So, and if people will catch them at it and let everybody know that that's what they did, and if people will care.
Yeah.
Because you know,
we always circle back to that.
Yeah, because people don't care about Joe. I mean,
I think they do now.
Yeah, and they're starting to. Yeah. Well, I think they're starting to because who the hell wants him to run for your? They want to win. Right.
Yeah, and do you get to win these days?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Are you a denier? Are you an election denier?
Yeah. Well,
are you a racist?
Well, yeah. Well,
are you a white supremacist?
Well, we're all racist, aren't we? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I just, you know, I don't. If they're selling soap, I don't fucking want any of that soap because it stinks.
So yeah, the election tomorrow in California. I guess everybody's already voted. I'm old. I've been around. The Senate
more than 50 times,
a few times more than you. So I'm one of those guys that goes and votes at the community center in Cypress, you know. But a lot of people already have. But I just was looking at the ballot, and you know, it's no on everything.
No,
you know, I mean, the gambling things. You know, they're not gonna pass. The only one is that I might be. Enticed to vote yes on is the one for the arts for the schools, but that money's not going to go. That's going to go the same place where the lottery money went for the schools. You know.
Oh, speaking of lottery money, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's crazy to think about winning it. If you're not in a state where they let you be anonymous, I mean, what's that going to do to your life?
Listen, and let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I had this conversation with my dear friend Kaya. And I said, if you win that kind of money instantly, you need security.
Yeah.
For your family, for your children, anybody. Okay. First of all, you're a huge target now. Your kids are kidnapped. You know what I mean? Not only are people going to come out of the woodwork, you know what I mean? Whatever, but
all your ex-friends.
You need some decent people that you know around you that know about money. I would get an attorney and some security and be a very, very long time before I wanted anybody to know that I won that.
Well, and I don't know that you can. Like I said, certain states you could be anonymous. California, you can't. So if you win it,
hey, if I can identify as a fucking fire hydrant, I think I can be anonymous, can I?
Yeah, you know. I don't know, Richie. Everybody knows who you are already, you know.
I'm a fire hydrant. I like it when we had that conversation. What do you identify as? You said, I'm a grown-ass man. I stole that.
Oh, yeah, that's my pronoun, grown-ass man.
Grown-ass man.
Yeah. I don't as far as California goes, I don't like to talk about Newsom, but I did see, you know how I feel about COVID and all that. I got a big burr under my saddle about how all that came down, but he's getting sued by some doctors because of the the thing he signed into law about the COVID-19.
If you don't follow his guidelines,
if you don't follow the contemporary scientific consensus, whatever the hell that is, which they were wrong about for, however long they were wrong about.
Are they medical doctors? Do they have degrees?
Yeah.
Can we, is Facebook going to fact check Twitter and Twitter is going to fact check Facebook and there's going to be confusion there?
I just wonder if those things are all going to implode before too long. I mean, I think,
there's a lot of money in it.
Well, there's a lot of money in it, but those guys have all lost. There's a cumulative $200 billion between Bezos and Facebook And,
Zuckerberg's fucking doing very well.
well, he's lost a ton of money though. They've
Paul
lost.
Pelosi was just in his hospital.
The Zuckerberg general.
Zuckerberg, you saw that, right? I looked at that. I went, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, that alien looking.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Anyway,
You know what makes a guy like that tick? You know, it's like what
he stole it from somebody, apparently, didn't he?
Yeah, well,
they say.
Yeah, nothing to do under the sun.
The idea. Da da da. Here all week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we did. Did you have some specific ones you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, there was a couple of things I wanted to talk about here. You're talking about this is something that I'm glad to see people are standing up, because nobody talks about China, and they're sick of talking about China and they're taking over the world, that they're going to take over the world. I mean, do something. But in Florida, they are stopping them from buying. Check this out. They want to buy 1,400 acres. The Chinese government does, right, to open up a biolab to test on primates.
And they told people this out loud, right?
Yeah. And so DeSantis and these people are vigorously trying to block it. But you got to give them the stones it takes to do that. After they did Wuhan and whatever they've done, said, you know what, we're going to go to Florida and open up our own biolab there. Because,
and you and I are probably going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, no doubt. But because it just took a little too long for that virus to get overseas from Wuhan, and this way we can just let things escape on the mainland.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that they were and another thing about this is a question I have about Florida and DeSantis. Trump came out, and I know he's Trump and he's this and he's that, but he called him DeSanctimonious, in his latest rally or whatever. And people are energized about him, but at some point it's like that. It's the I'm energized, but you've seen it in the movie where they go, oh, yeah. Meaning they're just faking that energy for him,
Well, I mean,
and DeSantis is a favorite child right now. Everybody loves the guy, and rightfully so. He's a stud, he's a stud. I like what he's doing. And so for Donald to go after him like that,
listen, Donald's a New Yorker. We already decided that. I mean, he's
Right.
a little brash. He's a little bold, obviously cocky. But again, I don't want somebody that's a fucking Sunday school teacher to run the country.
Of course,
I don't
not.
want somebody that I love Sunday school teachers. I had a very nice Sunday school teacher.
You're the one.
But Cresaptown, I think it was Cresaptown, Maryland. It just,
well, people.
It's going to be his competition. It's like Carrie Lake. I mean, I love Carrie Lake. We had a conversation about Carrie Lake. She calls him how she sees him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She's getting attacked on all sides. They've been like knifing her tires. They're fucking with her campaign people.
Yeah. Sending powder to her staff, envelopes of powder and white powder in and that stuff. Well, I just think Trump.
They're playing dirty these days, bro.
Yeah, the public's fickle. They just they go back and forth.
Well, Hillary Clinton said you don't even know what inflation means.
Yeah, Joy Reid.
And there's
Reid.
This thing about crime. It's
who are you going to believe?
Rhetoric.
Who are you going to believe? Your lion eyes or
yeah, my lion eyes. Yeah. This isn't a crime show I watch on YouTube where Kensington K&A. Shout out again to Philly.
Yeah.
Night before last, or maybe it was last night. 9 people shot in a bar outside of and the shootings. The muggings, the robberies, the beatings. Black, white, brown, purple, pink, polka dot. It don't matter. You know what I mean? It's sad. And
when you're the victim of it, it doesn't matter. You don't care who the hell did it. All you know is you've got a busted eye socket, or you've been thrown in front of a subway train.
Wasn't she? She was a stewardess, wasn't she?
What are you talking about?
There was a lady that got beaten. They busted her up, beat her so bad she might not even see again.
Yeah,
they got it on videotape.
Yeah, and they got the one guy from they finally did it. He raped 2 women, and the last one he choked her out, broke her neck, broke vertebrae in her. And he's got a 25 rap sheet with 25 arrests and blah blah blah.
You know what else? Speaking of crime, I'm not sure if it was in San Bernardino, maybe it was in Riverside County. A lady had her 1-year-old and was like getting out of the car to go into the supermarket or some type of shopping, and someone that knew her came up and assaulted her, just like started punched the baby and everything.
Yeah.
And it was on the news because the case was dismissed because there's not enough courtrooms to try these people.
That happened in Riverside. That might have been Riverside.
It was Riverside.
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah.
It was in San Bernardino, Riverside County. But yeah, it's just like, you want people to be out on cash, no cash bail. I mean, listen, I'm not for prisons that make money off of prisoners. Okay. If you did something wrong and there's an opportunity for you to be rehabilitated. I mean, let's look at other countries.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Let's look at other countries.
Concept.
I don't know, Denmark, Sweden, places like that. They probably got really bad fucking people there too, but there's probably a program to help literally. I mean, like not just, hot cot, in, out, 48 hours. Like rehabilitate them. If they're not worth rehabilitating, why are we spending all this money? You know what I mean? Like,
what are the percentage of people want to be rehabilitated too? I mean, that all that stuff comes into it. But those countries you talked about, they don't have 2 million people in prison.
Yeah, they have secure borders. They have different laws on abortion.
Yeah.
I'm sure their voting, except maybe you're in Venezuela.
Well, what's her name from Italy? That's just the prime minister of Italy.
Yeah,
she just closed off her ports to the ships coming in with I don't know, immigrants, I guess we'll say, against the EU said absolutely not. You got to let everyone in. She said,
yeah, well, she should. You know what I mean? It's her country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's kind of the European Trump, they said. But
go to any other country and try to just waltz across the border and say, I'm here. Where's my free shit?
Yeah.
See what happens to you. And again, I'm going to say this. I am all for people that would like to come here to seek asylum. They need to do it the right way.
Yeah.
They need to do it the right way. All our families came here from somewhere else. Okay. Through Ellis Island. Maybe some of them didn't. Maybe it was before Ellis Island. Some people's families came here. But you got to do it the right way. This country cannot sustain the border towns. I mean, we talked about this on the last show. Obviously, they're not talking about it anymore, about the shipping of people here and there. You know what I mean? When it affected them, it was a huge deal. They had Xboxes and foosball tables and lawn, for these people on that island. I can't remember the name of it right now in New York. But yeah, I mean, like crime's out of control, homelessness, mental health, inflation, gas prices. You know what I mean?
You don't know what inflation means.
I know, but I bet I don't.
I thought I did.
Apparently I bet it's Donald Trump's fault.
Yeah, well,
it's not Donald Trump's fault.
Yeah, the reason you were late today was because of Trump, I'm sure.
I blame everything on Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, you're safe to do that,
Yeah. So. I think he said, I was listening to something. He said 11 million pages of something they found nothing. They found nothing. When are we going to stop wasting the taxpayers' money and get some other things accomplished in this country? You know what I mean? By our government, our elected officials, whether they be Republican, Democrat, whatever, independent. Let's get some shit done for the people. Let's stop fucking around and sending money to every other fucking place in the world. And we're not helping ourselves. We're not helping the people that need help right here. And it's been like that forever.
And infrastructure. That word gets thrown around. It used to get thrown around more than inflation, but
what does that mean?
Yeah, I know. We're so stupid.
Yeah, you need to change your eating habits. Stupid. They were talking about it.
Yeah,
he said, you buckle down. You know what I mean?
Chef Boyardee. Somebody said that today. Some politician. Well, you may just have to do Chef Boyardee for a while.
One more quick thing, and I think we have a guest, don't we?
Well, yeah, we were supposed to at 6. We'll see if we can get in touch with Derek. There he is. We do have Derek.
He's our boy.
Okay, yeah. So we'll bring him on in a second. And, there's just one other thing I wanted to go over about. Wifey posted something about what we accept now. Can you put that up, Joel? The phrase.
Do I put my glasses on now? Jesus, you have me working.
And gradually, though, no one remembers exactly how it happened. The unthinkable becomes tolerable, and then acceptable, and then legal, and then applaudable.
Where's that from?
Somebody named Joni. I don't know.
Thank you, Joni.
Tada. But that is that's a crux of the problem, because 10 years ago, would you have thought that Mary Poppins was racist, that you couldn't say ladies and gentlemen on the plane, that boys could beat the hell out of girls on the wrestling mat,
that men could get pregnant?
And now that's applaudable, like that said. And if you don't, you know what you are, right?
Yeah,
anyway,
I know.
okay.
I'm a denier, a racist, I'm a terrorist.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I've been called worse.
Yeah. We're real quick. One more thing before we bring on Derek. So we talked about, I mentioned Pelosi and the hammer and all that stuff. Did you see where was it NBC? And we talked about it, but I'm gonna bring my hammer. They dropped it. They removed it for something about
what's going on in that boardroom.
The story's changed so many times. I don't really care. I want to say something. If you've been watching any of that, they talk about the glass going in and going out. That's laminated glass.
I know.
So in the middle of that two panes of glass, there's a piece of plastic that's holding it together. It's almost like safety glass. When you smash it, it kind of stays together and doesn't splinter, right? Yeah. And that being a low level, this is probably a security issue too. You know what I mean? But if somebody was hammering on it, that glass would have fallen out. But there seemed to be glass. That hole was awfully huge, and somebody was hammering on it for quite some time, making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
For the security people and the cameras not to pick anything up. But
anyway. That's the thing. It's sources close to the investigation, that they use that all the time and print it, and that's what this was, a source that was close to the investigation, and then they just dropped it. Potato, man.
They're not going to release any of the 911 call. First, they said there was a welfare check before the 911 call. Okay, there was a welfare, but now the welfare check's out of the picture. I was in the automobile business for 27 years. Cars today, you have an airbag that has a sensor. If someone's seated there, right, the airbag deploys. If no one's seated and belted and you hit something, that airbag doesn't deploy.
Right.
It becomes an insurance issue and a cost and just destroys the car for nothing. So, he was arrested for that DUI, and the passenger airbag went off, and they say there was somebody in that car and there was something in his system. They didn't say what. It took a bunch of people suing to get that footage where he's like holding himself up on the car. So it'll be a little while, or it'll just go away like we talked about.
Yeah.
But there's way more to the fucking story than anybody fucking is telling anybody. Like,
there's no video of third in line for the presidency's house.
Yeah. Well, they were in DC. And Paulie was left unattended.
Yeah.
And, they say that, possibly, he was, they were giving each other the hammer in their underwear. What do I know? And I'm not hating. Look, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Also, who answers the door for the police?
Yeah.
And then goes back in to where all the shit's going on.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Not even me.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're one tough son. You're former. You're a former.
I got, what I mean? Yeah. I got 2 weapons right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still like, hey, that guy's fucking nuts, bro. Somebody handle him.
Yeah, guns,
the big ones.
Okay, Hey, let's bring Derek on. He's sitting.
We gave him all kinds of stuff to chat about.
Hey, Derek,
gentlemen, how are you?
What is up, dude?
Not too much, man. How you guys doing?
Oh man, we're having too much fun. How was your day?
I'm still in the car business, dude. So you know how that is.
Well, so you can attest to that. You can be my expert witness.
I can. It's not a fun place to be.
It looks like you escaped the kids and you're out in the patio, maybe, or something.
I did. I warned everybody that I'm going to be doing something out here where if they come out yelling and screaming, I'm going to have to kill somebody. So I think we're okay. So
he's a shooter. He's a shooter. Watch yourself.
Yeah, that is true. I have airsoft for children and heavier stuff for.
Oh, I love it. So,
a little bit. How do you guys know each other? Derek, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Go ahead.
Well, so essentially, Richie is my cousin. Really, he's cousin Richie.
Pseudo. That's right.
Pseudo cousin Richie. So our families have been friends for as long as we've been alive. As long as I've been alive. And so Richie's lovely mother and my family are tight as tight gets. So a lot of the most wonderful experiences that I've had in my life with my immediate family include Richie. So it's been kind of a thing, and he and I see eye to eye on a lot of things, and we've got to be friends over the years, of course. And so, but it's been since having the band play at my folks' wedding anniversary to you name it. Yeah, it's been really cool.
You missed that show.
I guess I did.
The sunset. There's actually the picture that's on my Facebook.
I noticed that today. Your profile. I took that
like
picture.
You did. I had a Coke. Remember, I didn't have a Coca-Cola in my hand.
You did. I don't know if it was Coca-Cola in the can.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Might have been. Beautiful. The deck at the house is just crazy, and we could probably go down there and do that again.
We should.
If you call me. If you call me for a gig,
I'll make sure that you're invited. I will.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Joel, can I get a towel? Get this knife out of my fucking back. So yeah, Derek, Aunt Vicky. So I'd say, just like we're talking about cousins, like Aunt Vicky, Uncle Rick. So my mom and Aunt Vicky are like sisters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've just grown up together. I was gone for a little bit and then back and forth as military or back east. But, when we get together at a family event or, we're having cocktails, we're enjoying ourselves, we're talking about guns, we're close, we're cousins. Actually, we talked about this. We saw each other just a couple nights ago. We were talking about somebody that finished a gun that needs to get some rounds in it, and I have that new AK that needs to get some rounds in it. So we're going to do some get some downrange time here real quick. But thanks for joining us, tonight. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
man. No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Our core values are pretty much the same. Sometimes with our family, where we are, like, some of us have to go to one side of the room and everybody else is kind of on the other side of the room, not just because, we don't want to, maybe offend anyone or, we're just talking, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you would if, we were in a bar or someplace else, we're having a smoke or, we're having a cocktail, I'm smoking a joint, whatever. And we start talking, about, Paul Pelosi or, Sleepy Joe, but.
Well, it was an eye opener for me too. This whole, the last couple of years with everything that's been going on, I actually learned quite a bit about family that I knew very well and had no idea. I have family members that were hook, line, and sinker. I got into it with immediate family where I actually had somebody say, so, as far as a vax goes, you're willing to kill grandma.
Man.
So the question that never got answered was, I go, well, I've had COVID twice. I'm pretty well stacked with antibodies. I'm a 40-something-year-old high blood pressure drinking dude. I might be the poster child for somebody who may not want to go ahead and go that route. And the question of, well, if I'm not vaxxed, then what does that change about my transmitting it to someone else? And that was met with glassy eyes because NPR didn't cover that answer. And it's funny because now that time has gone on, there's still no answer to that. And now the narrative has changed. Well, it doesn't really stop that. Well, then what did we, why did I not speak to an immediate family member for 7 months because they were so mad over this type of thing?
Those stories abound. I have them myself. People that just.
I knew you were going to say that. Like as you started to say that, like I thought about the conversation that we had very similar to this, and then we have some other musical friends that were like, "Well, if you're not vaxxed, you shouldn't be able to play out in a venue.
Yeah, you shouldn't be hired. Yeah."
Now people are dying. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's what we were talking about. This law that Newsom signed, contemporary scientific consensus. Well, they were wrong,
right.
So, and that's what science is. It's difference of opinion. I thought it was
right. And the science is such that I'm no virologist. I'm a dropout service advisor. You know what I mean?
Like, I was the same thing.
But nevertheless, when you are vaccinated against something, you still spread it. You can still catch it. It's protecting you. So it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated horseshit. I was never going to get on board with that, not in a million years. And so, I was listening before I came on, and you guys we're nailing it as far as all these points, but I think that really it's because the thought is still, there's no logic here, and the confusion is, why is there no logic? And the question is, they're not looking for logic. You know what I mean? That logic has no place in this conversation.
There's a phrase that Richie and I use all the time. It's the team jersey.
Right.
Well, that's what it comes down to.
I mean,
people won't take off the team jersey in the face of facts.
Well, I'm gonna say this too as well. It's about money. You know what I mean? Bottom line, the government's gonna say we're gonna give it to you for free, right? But somebody fucking paid for it.
Yeah, it was
you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm watching YouTube because I don't fucking watch the news. I'll pop on YouTube and maybe, like I surf around and check videos out and, try to do a little bit of research on my own. But even then, I told Johnny I don't really fucking believe anything anymore. In between, videos, because I don't log in, so they play ads in between a lot of the videos. There's a lot you can find on YouTube. They're talking about the booster. Get your booster. Well, get your COVID booster. Oh, fuck absolutely. You.
Hey, I mean, anybody who listens to radical right-wing radio, AM radio, which I do as I sit in traffic all day long. I mean, it's hilarious because you'll sit there and you'll have, I'm listening to somebody all day long that's right, and they get it, and they're speaking, plain.
And then it comes on.
Truth. Yeah. And then the ad comes on about getting my booster. And if I got to hear that clown from Saved by the Bell tell me one more time about getting my booster. I mean, like, I don't understand. Like, the radio station's got to make money. I get advertising. I get all that stuff, but it's almost comical. It's like, it's two different Americas. Yeah. And I mean, and that's the truth.
And they also, those commercials are also unicorns and rainbows with the sing-songy
money green,
and I guess they think people still don't know. Like there's still a few we haven't got that don't know about the jab yet.
Well, I mean, there's people running around.
That's what they're going after
with masks and gloves in their car by themselves. Still, man, we all see it.
I know.
And I mean, and it's
don't get us started.
At this point, it's like
YouTube's already cut us off, I'm sure. YouTube already shut this fucking show down like 20 minutes ago. So we can say whatever the fuck we want.
Thank God for Rumble, right?
Yeah, we're on Rumble.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, like when it's really funny. So I don't know who it was, but they said when you're over the target, when people are complaining, trying to shut you down, that's when you're over the target.
Yeah.
You're talking the right stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, again, if you wanted to get vaccinated, I was cool with it. I got no problem. I just didn't want it. I didn't really, in my mind, I was like, I don't think they're trying to stick a chip in me. You know what I mean? I didn't believe any of that stupid shit, but I just thought like, I had it in 2019. I was fucking sicker than I was in 30 years. If it wasn't for Jeannie, I love you. Shout out to my dear friend, my sister, my landlord. She gave me a fucking Z-Pack. She's like, it's expired. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm going to die. Like, I'm going to die. Like,
expired stuff is where it's at, just so you know. Like, I had the same bottle of Dayquil. And I start getting sick the other day, and I come home looking for it, and I'm like, honey, where's the Dayquil? She goes, I threw it away. It's from 2017. I'm like, that's where it gains its power.
Yeah, that's alcohol. It's alcohol anyway. That's like wine,
dude, Absolutely.
You say fermenting.
It was fermenting. It was a fantastic year. So if anybody out there has a 2017 bottle of Dayquil, I'm paying top dollar for it. I'm paying top dollar.
Yeah. Spread that out. Yeah. Everybody search the web now.
Yeah, please. I already got on eBay. I didn't find anything there, but I'm still looking.
Oh my God.
Start going to estate sales and hope I luck out on something that's been in the medicine cabinet for a little while.
Yeah. But yeah, that's so sad because, I know John had a similar story. I mean, my mom, Aunt Sharon had a liver transplant, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, at first, like anybody, I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? I can't go over there. And, like with packages and, like, I didn't want to go, Mom, are you okay? What do you need? We'll leave it by the door. She's in a big house. She's cool. You know what I mean? She got her iPad, TV, and everything's groovy. But, and then she wanted it. Her doctor wanted her to have it,
which is fine. She's high risk. I mean, let's do it. I mean, I totally don't, but for somebody, I went and I got tested because I was doing blood work anyway, and I had COVID for the second time. So the first time I got it, I had a pretty severe bronchial thing going on that I couldn't get rid of for like 3 weeks. This was pre-COVID being a thing. So I go in and I get a steroid inhaler from the doctor. He goes, I think we should do COPD testing. You sound pretty jacked up. How long has this been going on? I say 3 weeks. He goes, well, here, he gives me a steroid inhaler. 3 days later, I'm golden. I mean, I feel good. I think the order for the COPD testing is still in my book somewhere. I haven't done it yet. But so, but then the second time I got it was like 2 years later. And that time I had not a cough, not a nothing. I felt like I fell out of a hot air balloon. I mean, my kidneys were destroyed. I was sick as a dog. I had low fever, but felt like I had a fever of 114. And I was down for like 4 or 5 days. And I'm not a pinnacle of health by any stretch of the imagination, but I wouldn't want to be an 80-year-old diabetic.
You look good.
And have that. Thank you. I appreciate it. And have that shit because it would wipe you out. But after 4 days,
Johnny had it.
Yeah, I had it, but here's the thing: it depends on who you are. I looked it up, blood type and all that stuff.
Sure.
My whole family had it. My mom was 95 when she got it. She had the sniffles she had it in 21 when it was a strong strain. She had the sniffles for a weekekend.
When I had it, there was no testing yet, but I have to have a test.
Yeah,
to go to the hospital.
I had it, and I had it for a weekend or whatever. But one of the things that's always bothered me a little bit when Richie's talking about you can't believe anything anymore is I get this thing, and you probably have too, Derek. Well, we didn't know what
right.
So that's why we did. That's why we kept kids out of school and locked it, because we just didn't know. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
knew within months who the hell was at risk. We knew it. It didn't get out, and they didn't care, and they went ahead anyway because
it
money.
was an exercise in power.
Cha-ching.
It's all
cha-ching, and
I got a quick question, and I've asked this a couple of times, and you're both very intelligent, and I just went, whatever happened to Bill Gates? I did not see Bill Gates speak one time in the last 2 years.
He was busy buying up every bit of land.
Yeah, he's just
right, but wasn't he like stealth. Fucking? He was like Mr. Vaccine. His father was involved in stuff. He went to fucking school with Fauci, didn't he? Dude, he was the one that said the next thing would be the next world war, or the next big catastrophe would be this pandemic, and he didn't show his fucking face once to speak about anything.
No,
yeah,
he is notoriously famous for being one of these people that thinks that this planet cannot support this many people.
Yeah,
he is notorious for that.
He's the biggest individual.
Who made him in fucking charge?
Nobody. He just thinks
his
money. Thinks he knows. And he is more than happy to take away land where there could be like cattle raised and things of that nature.
Well,
I mean, the amount of land that clown owns, coupled with federal land that they have bought.
Yeah, he's the biggest farm individual owner of farmland in the United States. And I don't know, maybe Epstein happened to him, and maybe all those guys are laying low.
Now you're really going to get us in trouble.
I know.
It could be. It could be.
Did you hear? Did you hear Carrie Lake? They said that Hillary was making fun of her.
Yeah.
So she said it on in one of her recent conferences. She said, "My brakes work fine."
Suicidal thoughts.
Right.
So I'm good. So
my car's in good working order. My brakes are working. All that.
Yeah, I just have my brakes checked. Everything's good.
Something happens to me.
Yeah. My brakes aren't good. I'm taking them tomorrow, but
by the way, we got a couple comments. Who's Russell?
Russell Sint, my buddies. Krusty.
Yeah.
Krusty the Clown. There's a patriot right there. Father was a Marine. My brother, we rode motorcycles together with the CEMC. And
we got the great John Rodberg chimed in as well.
Is he a percussionist or
he
drummer?
He is now. He is now.
What up, John?
We let him sit and play congas at one of our gigs, and now we can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's what happens, we've tried, and he just keeps showing up.
Yeah, it's like the Strays. Yeah. It happens.
But we love him though. I mean, we're thrilled he's there. He's big fun, man.
Actually, I got to give a shout out to Russell. When I first got back to California, and Russell was someone that I met, I think at Cook's Corner, and we hit it off pretty good, and he played music, so we jammed a little bit, and then we jammed first like at a private party for like some of our friends from Cook's, all the hippies and the bikers and the cowboys, and from there it just snowballed. We played in a band called Richie and the Rocker Arms, He played guitar. He played bass. Yeah, it's, some history there. Love you, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's what music does, man.
Yeah.
I know so many people that otherwise I'd just be sitting home,
Yeah.
with no friends at all.
We talked about it.
Cat.
Yeah. You still kicking that cat?
That cat. Goddamn cat.
Speaking of animals, we got a puppy, and it's a lot of work. Yeah, he's so cute. He's so intelligent, and shout out to Parker. He's really stepped up here.
Yeah.
He's taking care of him, and he took him to the vet twice, and he's getting it handled. So shout out to Parker and Kane. Kane is a pit bull lab mix, and the vet said today that's going to be one very big dog. Parker's taught him some hand commands, sit.
That's cool. Another shout to Tracy. She's a friend of mine, and she likes she just chimed in here. She loves what we're doing.
Hey Trace, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. So we got to get something on the book for a shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm in. I got
wait.
I got the upsell call from the Smith the other day. So
we talked
I
about
was
that.
in for this many dollars, and now I'm in for this many dollars. So, should be a 1,000-yard gun when I'm done. So should be all right.
Tomorrow you'll need to upsell some stuff. Sell some muffler bearings.
Yeah.
Muffler bearing. What's how much? Yeah, you're gonna. If you don't have this done, ma'am, you will perish in a fiery crash.
Yeah,
we'll get you a loaner. Leave it with me, okay?
Yeah.
Because
it's the end of democracy.
Loaners in the General Motors world, that's for Mercedes-Benz. Loaners. I'll get you a lift ride.
Yeah. Well, we get you a discount on a rental here.
You get one of those little. Get one of those little city scooters that you can leave anywhere. That's what you get from the GM.
That's right.
Those things are
don't
crazy.
go too fast without a helmet, because that's a bad deal.
I don't know.
That's another weird one.
We ever talked about it. I mean, I don't know legally how they would stay in business, because I see them everywhere, because obviously I'm driving all over California, whether Northern California, Southern California, no matter. But you see these people, they probably didn't ride bikes well or skateboard well. They don't ride motorcycles, surf, or any of that stuff. And they're flying around on these things in flip-flops that go, some of them 25 miles an hour, it seems.
Yeah. Why
on these rough roads.
Yeah. We almost got run over by one on the Seal Beach Pier. But
I've seen some big falls. People hit some shit and fly.
But you see those. You see kids on those Irvine
kids.
Yeah, you don't see the kids on those in North Long Beach and places like that. They have regular bikes they ride.
Yeah, well, once in a while.
Pedal.
But they're usually in the back of somebody's truck. They stole them from LA.
They pedal.
That was somebody else's bike. But
yeah. Well, I can say that I grew up in North Long Beach and Compton, so and I got a soft spot for North Town.
It's such a lovely neighborhood.
Yeah, well, it used to be.
You know
what though?
I spend a lot of time in Long Beach these days, and I really like Long Beach.
Yeah,
I just got back from there. My buddy is part owner at the Portuguese Bend Distillery in Long Beach there. And
shout out, shameless plug.
Yeah, we went, and the guy who is the master distiller there is literally a rocket scientist, like retired from like Boeing or something, and was a rocket fuel
Boeing.
Developer. And now he immediately transitioned very easily into brewing booze. And we went up and did a flavor profile thing. And me and all my knucklehead buddies that live around the corner went in on like 90 bottles of bourbon together. And
90?
Yeah.
Did you think there was the pandemic was going to last a few years longer?
We're in another one right now. I told him
wrap my arms around that.
90? That's like me saying, yeah, I got this extra 20 pounds. I'm going to smoke it before the weekend.
It should last me for a week.
There were a lot given as gifts. So it was just one of those.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You invested in this. This wasn't for personal consumption.
I did. But it worked out pretty cool. It's a cool spot.
Nice one.
So Long Beach is cool.
Yeah.
Well, Long Beach is everything. I mean, Long Beach is poly, and then it's got some of the oldest money in Southern California, Virginia Country Club, so Pasadena old money, and then right over the fence, on Del Amo is the Hood, and then you've got College Park, and Long Beach is it's got everything, man. Then Belmont Shore.
Diverse.
It's diverse. It's got diversity. I don't think it has equity though. Because
It is
it
equity.
there is no equity.
with all the diversity, there
Yeah.
should be some equity.
But there is no
Yeah.
equity anywhere. There
What's
is
the
no
ESG score?
There's it's not funny, but it's Long Beach is kind of sectioned off there. There's a Vietnamese and a very Asian part of that where there's a serious Asian gangs, and I mean I delivered over there a bunch of times in the middle of the day. There's
Where's that?
Long Beach,
But I mean, where in Long Beach?
oh, not far from where we were talking about where the prospector was.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, well that's
What's that?
Belmont Heights.
Belmont High. Yeah, Belmont. Yeah,
Yeah, in between Wilson High and Pauley.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Shout out to Long Beach.
Yeah.
And all the cool cats. I know a lot of folks from Long Beach. La Chuca, Ponce, all the good folks.
I don't know. Is there anybody else you want to rag on?
Yeah, you got anything else for us?
Anybody else that raises your blood pressure and pisses you off? You got mine raised when you started talking about COVID, so
yeah,
I calmed down now though.
That's his bullet point right there. That's his cookie button. That's inside.
I mean, you don't even have to say anything about Joe. He speaks for himself, sort of.
Well,
no one understands what he speaks for himself, but he speaks for himself. And what was the thing? What was the thing we just saw? We were talking about is, if the big red wave does happen, are they going to go after him? And now we have the sources tell us
the whistleblower guy
about the gambling.
They disguised his voice, and I just heard a piece of it. I haven't had a chance to dive into it at all or try to look anything up, but an
online gambling situation down in Latin America.
Yeah, he named,
and he was right in the middle of it, and he even quoted Joe. So
they're all
if they end up getting Joe on some gambling stuff in South America, I mean, the man's basically like a Chinese operative. So, I mean, I guess
at this point, yes.
I mean, that's
Ukrainian operative.
He's got chopsticks with his name on him for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, in the mid 2000s, there wasn't an elite that didn't send their kid to the Ukraine immediately after they got out of whatever Ivy League school they were in to go make millions of dollars. Yeah, and now we can't send billions over there fast enough. I mean, and I'm not sure who's doing the accounting, but there's not.
What we talk about, I want to see the receipt. Remember?
Yeah,
I said that. Look, here's the deal. As far as I'm concerned, there was this pipeline that went from Russia right down to Ukraine, right down through the Baltic Sea, right?
Nord Stream.
Or Nord Stream. First of all, if you ask the White House, but yeah.
Well, if you ask the White House, pipelines and refining fossil fuels is okay everywhere else but here. But if you go back and run the timeline into 2007, 2008, 2009, like all these things about, the Clintons and the Bidens and all these Russian oligarchs and the mayor of Moscow's wife and all the prostitutes and all the bullshit and the coke and everything they were doing over there. Like, this is all part of what was going on. They knew they had to, there's a guy, what was that guy's name? We talked about the other morning in England who's, they say he's a conspiracy theorist and all, because he said that the U.S. was trying to start a war with Russia for years.
Yeah.
Over that, and they were going to use Ukraine. They're still talking about it.
Well, they own Ukraine, so why not use it? I mean, that's the thing. Or, however you want to look at it. I mean, what's Ukraine, like 60% of the wheat? You have all these things coming up where food shortage, but I mean, we ain't even seen anything yet. They haven't been able to grow anything over there. There's this half-assed war going on with a bunch of unmotivated Russian teenagers or whatever is going. I mean, it's definitely, it stinks. It stinks bad.
Well,
it doesn't look normal. Just like everything else in the world right now, I'm like, something isn't right here.
And it's stinking more and more as each day goes by.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're signing 400 billion, 200 billion. I mean, I honestly,
they got to stop it. They got to stop it. I mean,
I can't help but wonder if this is not the most greatest train robbery of transfer of wealth in the history of the world, because all these dollars are going somewhere, and if they're going somewhere and they're just getting pocketed for
so is the
whoever.
equipment. So is
Well,
the
that's what
equipment.
I mean.
all of our ammunition, a lot of our high tech stuff is going that way. But so
Right.
I'll tell you something else. A really good friend of mine is a private security for a big star, a big music star, and they travel. You know what I mean? And one of the people that they saw overseas was from Russia, a very good friend of this particular person, and she was like, you know, they were like, "Oh, what's going on?" You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're afraid. She's like, "Whatever you see over there is not what's you know what I mean? What we see or what we're told, and I don't even know that it's happening that way."
Yeah.
I mean, so like, you know, I just think that, you know, it's awfully fishy that the pipeline blew up. We're over there, we're doing all this shit, and the very next day after the pipeline blew up, there was another pipeline from Denmark to Ukraine. And like it's like, you know, nothing to see here. We blew up the gas station across the street, and this new gas station is
there's
now
there's an Arco.
You know what I mean? They got pony rides. We're giving away free washers and dryers.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry about the guy.
Clock radios.
So why were all these people? You know what I mean? I guess Pelosi's kid was over there too. They said at some point.
Yeah, all of them were. I mean, Burisma, the whole deal. It's all.
Well,
it's
and Joe paved the way. That prosecutor.
Joe absolutely paved the way.
The prosecutor was going after Hunter, and he just said, "Well, you want the money?
Shut it down, or we'll cut
you want the money? You quit doing it." And son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a price for everything, and you know, if they can't pay you and you don't want the money, they just kill you. But you know, I just the whole thing, you know, it just really blows my mind. But you know, if you go to the United Spot, which is my new favorite thing, I love these little meme things they do.
It's pretty funny.
He's fucking hilarious, and I think he's on point. And if you haven't seen it, D, you got to check it out.
I'll check it out.
The United Spot. So he's like interesting. He comes on and he's got like the face of the Joker, like the last Joker, you know, like really. And he's like, listen, here is like, they played all these tricks on you. They made you do this. They made you do that. They took away this. They took away that. But let me ask you one thing. He was like, and I'm not paraphrasing. It's much better than I'm making it. He's like, not one politician has been arrested.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, you know, they're going after, they're pulling this guy here, but you know, Clinton,
very few.
I mean, listen, the Mar-a-Lago thing, you know, shots fired, nothing hit. You know what I mean? 2 impeachments, shots fired, nothing hit. January 6th, shots fired. You know what I mean? Where's Ray Epps?
Yeah.
Where's this fucking guy, Ray Epps? You got video of this fucking guy everywhere. Where's he at? You know what I mean? That fucking clown.
And nothing's gonna come off from the new indictment that they're gonna throw out either. Nothing's gonna come from that either.
Guy.
You know, it's just.
You know what I mean? Again,
it'll be round the clock coverage though, and ticker tape across the bottom about how.
Yeah, it's that last act of a desperate man thing. That's what else? You know, what else? What else can you say?
The media's falling apart. I mean, nobody believes it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that unfortunately have woke the other way now. They're like, I'm not down for these fucking gas prices. I'm not down for food prices. I'm not, you know.
I mean, the media might be, you know, not to sound, you know, Trump about it, but the media might be the biggest enemy here. I mean, you talk to a lot of people, man, this is all they're getting is whatever they're getting from the media. They do zero research on anything on their own. And not only that, like, you don't even have to do research, but you got to listen to it from both sides. Now, albeit you got to reach a little farther to get something that's, you know, not crazy right, but on the right side of things to balance things out, because somewhere in the middle is what's actually happening. But nobody wants to do that. They want to zone out. They always, I mean, you tell people half the things that, it's easier. They're complacent, and that's just the way it goes. And so it's a whole sky is green thing. That's why they think they can get away
it's the same thing as it's the same thing as when people, you know, come out to the gig. I give people a pass that I know if they sit down on the couch, because I know how that is. You sit down on the couch, it's just so easy. You don't want to get up. And to do what you just said about investigating, well, I don't want to do that. I want to watch, I want to watch Yellowstone, and the 5th season of Yellowstone's on.
Right. Somebody, I had a conversation I can't remember who it was with, but it was put to me like this. He's like, sharing things on social media. You know what I mean? And how, well, that's disinformation and this is what you should be doing, whatever. He's like, a lot of these people push this social media stuff around. They don't do any research. They don't really have those same core values. But the homie, John is my homie, right? The homie said it was cool. He posted that shit. So I'm going to post that shit.
Yeah.
And just roll with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that could be true on both sides of whatever. I mean, again, I don't know anymore if I want to be a just independent libertarian kind of guy, but I just really want to be me, grown ass man, and enjoy the rest of my time.
And that's the thing. You see, a lot of people on the right now are way more libertarian than they ever were in the past. I mean, talk about
fuck the government, bro. They're
well, and that's the thing is, I mean, like basically, whether it's a rhino or a crazy ass Marxist communist, either way, a normal dude got nothing in common with you. You know what I mean? A normal guy just walking down the street.
Right.
But the problem is, if they turn themselves off to it and they're not paying attention, they're just taking in what NPR is telling them, and it's gonna lead them down the wrong path. I mean, like this whole, white supremacy thing. I mean, like I know dudes that are about as far on the right as it gets, and don't know any white supremacists. Even though I hear about it on the, I don't know any. It's not a thing, but you could make it.
Well, here's the thing:
you keep
and you keep browbeating people long enough, and for instance, no one cares if a guy dresses up like a girl.
No,
but what we care about is that if we don't approve, we've been told if we don't approve of it, what we
then
are,
you're homophobic.
And that's,
I mean, like if a guy wants to dress like a chick, that's totally cool. But having
or a chick wants to dress like a guy, I'm cool with that too. Like it don't matter.
Not my problem. If it doesn't break my leg or pick my pocket, you do you, boo.
Or it's fuck with my children.
Yeah.
Well,
but that's the thing. The drag show inside the library for the kindergartners. I mean,
why?
It's just pushing
why? Okay, listen.
That's why.
A college class, sure.
Do whatever you want.
You know what I mean? A college class, I think that's acceptable. And maybe
if it's a college, they're jacked anyway. So
whatever. Well, yeah. We could have a whole 2 more shows about that.
There's a lot of self-righteousness that goes on with those drag shows, and how enlightened they are.
And I got no problem with people in drag. I just don't think we shouldn't be exposing children to this kind of stuff at an early age. I don't think
it's to poke at the kids, man. Honestly, I think it's to poke at the parents. Like,
of course.
Go ahead, say something.
Yeah. Why should it even be a question? That I don't think that's right for kids. That's
listen, here's the deal.
That's just a common knowledge thing, you would think.
It happened in Virginia.
But again, common sense, dude. There ain't a whole lot of it out there.
Listen, common sense is not a common virtue.
They put up legislation. Like, I'm not going to get into an abortion thing. Like, who cares? Whatever. But like, they had legislation in California where they were pushing for same day, like birthday abortion. Like, if you want to get into incest and you want to get into rape, I mean, we can have this conversation.
Well, that's Proposition 1. That's Proposition 1 that's on the ballot that everybody's voting for. There's already protections for abortion or whatever however you want to call it. But that's already on the books.
But the media sells it, John, as it's like we outlawed abortion. It's not what happened. And again, I'm a choice guy. I don't want to offend anybody. I mean, it's a tough decision for me. It's always a tough conversation about life, and but it's not my choice. I'm a guy. I caused the problem.
You are a guy.
You know what I mean?
I think we can all.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah.
We can all agree that Richie. I think we can all agree that Richie is a guy, and I think on that note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a time.
I think on that note.
It's been a minute.
Hey, all Derek. Right. Thank you, sir.
Hey, we'd love to have you back on the show, cuz.
Yeah, I would be honored. I had a great time. I'd love to come back anytime.
If you can ever get a week where you're not working 60 hours, you could come and be in studio.
Yeah, get out of the car business.
Oh, on the way home, I grabbed the winning Powerball, so that should be no big deal.
Oh, okay. You can buy that. You can buy that car dealership and then close it down.
We're gonna build.
Yeah,
if we win the money,
in that car dealership.
No, we're never. He'll never. If I win, he'll never see a car again. He'll be driven. And we're gonna get a big studio. And real quick, I just want to say thank you to Joel, the wizard.
Put yourself up there, Joel.
Up there, Joel. from here at Golden Touch Studios.
Yeah, there he is. Thank you, sir.
Another Crow Village production. Fantastic job as always. We apologize. The last show we did from the Mo, we had some audio issues with Mom and Shell, and we're going to get them
we'll
back.
Get them back too.
We're going to get them back on the show. Listen, you know what I mean?
Invite me for that one.
You want to be on there?
You bet.
Oh, you want to just be a guest? Okay.
Yeah.
We could have you in the studio too, bro.
Yeah.
Set you up right here, get you stoned, get you a glass of bourbon.
Whiskey.
He likes fucking bourbon, that kid, man. Let me tell you.
I do, in fact. That's a recipe for disaster, but let's do it.
Yeah. You can't smoke cigarettes in here though.
Yeah. But
I'm okay with that.
And you're not allowed to smoke weed here anymore, because when we used to we'd have musicians on, and there's nobody who likes to talk more than musicians. They smoke his weed, and all I could get was yes and no answers out of him after about 20 minutes.
Yeah, there was a couple guys
Can you
that just
elaborate
went
on that? No.
We have a fast rule. Richie can smoke weed, no one else can though.
That's a good call.
Well, yeah. I think we're gonna get mom wants to do something about wine. They want to talk about wine, and we'll throw some other stuff in there. But we'd love to have you. And again, thank the family for allowing you to take the time. Tell them Uncle Richie said thank you, and we love them. And real quick, I'm going to say this. The night before Thanksgiving, I will be with the Ferris Wheel Junkies at the Swallows Inn. That's Wednesday, 11/23. Show probably starts around 7 or 7:30. It's one of the biggest nights, of the year. I don't get to play as much as, Johnny or some of these other guys anymore. But I did do a couple shows. I did a show with Albert and some people, and I did a show yesterday. Thanks for coming out. It was fantastic, fun, great times. Met some really cool people. On the 10th, I'm going to be at the Cliff with the Duck Brothers in Laguna Beach. John, you got any shameless plugs?
I'll be, let's see, this weekend I have a doctor's appointment on the 10th. And then, but other than that, I'll be at the Mo on Thursday, which is the 10th.
Shout out to
and then we'll be at Ivalee's in San Clemente, the beautiful Ivalee's on this coming Friday. We do love that place. Eric, the owner, is a great guy, and he's musician friendly.
Shout out to Eric.
Yeah,
and we're oh shit, what was I just gonna say? Well. The weed's kicking in.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I just want to say
it's a universal problem, actually.
I think it was just mushroom over my other shoulder. It's really I think it's spraying stuff on me. So I just wanted to say that we appreciate you guys. Like and share and subscribe. I'm pretty sure you
put our Venmo up there.
Yeah, throw our Venmo up there. We're a nonprofit organization. If you can
ain't that the truth?
If you can make a donation, we'd really appreciate it. We're gonna get our shit together at some point someday. Remember, it's nice to be important. It's more important to be nice. Life is short. You gotta hustle hard. From the Book of Dan, live and love like you mean it, and never trust a living ass. We'll see you at a saloon or a podcast real soon. Peace and much love.